At that time, I was going to City College in San Francisco. And she said,
Barbara Eden, the iconic star behind the beloved character of Jeannie, has finally revealed something that will change everything you thought you knew about her, and I Dream of Jeannie. For years, we watched Barbara light up our screens, playing the charming and magical Jeannie. But behind that sparkling smile, there was a much darker and more complicated reality that only now, at the age of 93, she's ready to share. What's the truth? It's shocking, it's revealing, and it's bound to make you see the show in a completely new light. What's your initial reaction to this shocking news? Let us know in the comments. Barbara Eden has always been the picture of poise and grace, but her experience on the set of I Dream of Jeannie was far from the fairy tale we imagined. For years, Barbara stayed silent about the pressures and emotional distress she faced behind the scenes. We all saw the magical lamp and the laugh-out-loud moments with Major Nelson. But what was happening off-camera? The truth is much darker than anyone could have imagined. Now, after decades of keeping quiet, Barbara is ready to share the untold story. As she opens up about the tension, conflicts, and pressures of being the star of one of TV's most beloved sitcoms, you'll start to understand why she kept silent for so long. And trust me, the answers could surprise you. When we think of I Dream of Jeannie, we remember the whimsical moments, the laughter, and the love story between Jeannie and Major Nelson. But behind the scenes, things were far from magical. Barbara Eden, for years, kept a secret about the struggles she faced on set. The pressure, the tension, and the emotional toll she endured are things most people never imagined. While the world saw a happy and charming Jeannie, Barbara was quietly dealing with conflicts that would have surprised even the most devoted fans. The set was far from the cheerful, light-hearted place it appeared to be on screen. While Barbara Eden played the ever-smiling Jeannie, her real-life experience was full of emotional distress. There were constant power struggles and difficulties with the production team, and Barbara often felt controlled by the very show that made her a star. The pressures of maintaining the illusion of the show's fairy tale magic weighed heavily on her, and many of the behind-the-scenes moments were marked by tension, not joy. But despite all the challenges, Barbara kept a smile on her face for the cameras. It wasn't just the pressure from the set itself that took a toll. It was also the difficulty of balancing the role of a glamorous character with the personal and professional strain she was facing. The struggles she dealt with while portraying Jeannie were not just confined to her on-screen persona. They were impacting her personal life as well. For many years, Barbara Eden chose silence over speaking out about the turmoil she faced during the filming of I Dream of Jeannie. At first glance, it seemed like she was just being gracious, protecting the magic of the show and respecting its success. But the truth behind her silence was much more complex. Barbara had to keep quiet, not only to protect the show's image, but also because she feared the public would lose interest if they knew the truth. After all, what would happen if fans discovered that behind the laughter and charm, there was so much tension and difficulty? Barbara also kept her silence out of respect for the other people involved in the show. She didn't want to tarnish the legacy of I Dream of Jeannie, which had given her fame and the love of millions of fans. Speaking out could have meant exposing more than just the conflicts on set. It could have meant revealing the cracks in the seemingly perfect world of television in the 1960s. Barbara knew that once the curtain was pulled back, there was no going back, and she wasn't sure she was ready to risk it all for the truth. But the weight of her silence eventually took a toll. As the years went on, Barbara began to realize that keeping quiet was more damaging than speaking out. The emotional burden became too much to carry alone, and it wasn't until she had lived through decades of reflection that she decided it was time to share her story. The world may have seen a flawless, magical Jeannie, but Barbara's experience was one of emotional strain, sacrifice, and perseverance. Being a star on a hit TV show like I Dream of Jeannie should have been a dream come true for Barbara Eden, but the reality of fame and success came at a personal cost. The 1960s were a different time in Hollywood, especially for women. The industry was dominated by men, and Barbara, despite her success, had to constantly prove herself. Her beauty and talent were undeniable, but behind the scenes there were constant battles with sexism, censorship, and being treated as just a pretty face. The pressure of staying in the limelight, all while facing gender-based challenges, took a heavy emotional toll on her. Her co-star, Larry Hagman, became a source of tension for Barbara. While they maintained a professional relationship on screen, the dynamic behind the scenes was anything but easy. Larry's unpredictable behavior, fueled by alcohol and drugs, created an unstable work environment. Barbara was often the calm and collected one, trying to keep the production running smoothly while dealing with Larry's outbursts and struggles. It wasn't just the challenges of working with a co-star in turmoil. It was the constant juggling act of keeping up appearances while quietly suffering from the chaos around her. Barbara Eden's emotional strength was tested, and she had to find ways to keep going. Despite the setbacks and the personal sacrifices, she continued with grace. But it wasn't always easy. The show's success came with its own set of emotional struggles, and as her career progressed, she had to constantly weigh the cost of fame against her mental and emotional well-being. In the end, the price of stardom wasn't just fame. It was the emotional exhaustion of living in a world that didn't always recognize her humanity beyond her on-screen persona. As Barbara Eden finally shares the truth about the struggles behind I Dream of Jeannie, the show's legacy takes on a new meaning. The public's perception of the show, light, fun, and full of magic, was only half the story. The darker aspects of the production, like the emotional pressure, tension between cast members, and behind-the-scenes conflicts, now cast a shadow over what was once seen as a perfect escape. The fantasy that millions loved now has a deeper layer, showing how the price of stardom often isn't just fame, but personal hardship and sacrifice. Barbara Eden's openness about the difficulties she faced on the set doesn't just alter how we view her, but also how we see the entertainment industry of the 60s. The tension between the show's public image and the reality of its production highlights the often invisible struggles of stars who are expected to live up to the dream they portray on screen. It's a reminder that many stars, like Barbara, carried burdens that the public never knew about, hidden behind the magic of their characters. This revelation forces us to reconsider how we view old TV shows and the cost of the celebrity life. But despite everything Barbara endured, her legacy as Jeannie remains untarnished. The show still holds a place in pop culture, and her portrayal of the magical, lovable Jeannie is still admired. I Dream of Jeannie continues to inspire new generations, but now, with a more nuanced understanding of the price Barbara Eden paid to bring the magic to life. She may have been the perfect Jeannie on screen, but off camera, she was just a woman struggling to navigate the harsh realities of fame, making her a true icon in every sense of the word. Now that we know the truth about Barbara Eden's experiences on I Dream of Jeannie, it's impossible to look at the show the same way again. The magic of the lamp and the playful romance with Major Nelson seem a little different when we realize the emotional toll it took on Barbara to bring that fantasy to life. The shocking revelations about her struggles on set and in the industry remind us that behind every public persona, there's often a hidden battle. How will this affect Barbara Eden's legacy? Will it change how we view the iconic show or her career? What do you think about Barbara Eden finally sharing her story? Do you believe this will change how we remember I Dream of Jeannie? Comment below and let us know your thoughts. And don't forget to subscribe to stay updated on more shocking celebrity revelations.